Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to talk about using proportions to find perimeters and areas. So let's get to it. A swimming pool is similar in shape to a volleyball court. Find the perimeter P and area A of the pool. Now, one thing I want to make sure we get straight, this is not saying that every volleyball court is similar to a swimming pool. What it's saying is there is a volleyball court that they know has similar or equivalent or proportional dimensions as a specific volleyball court. So we can use that in this specific problem. What we're going to be talking about is how to do that. So we need to look at what we have. We know the perimeter of the volleyball court is 60 yards. We know the area is 200 yards. So the swimming pool should be proportional. Well, how do we find the perimeter? We add the outside. We have only one dimension. We know this is 10 yards. How do we find the area? We multiply two sides, this specifically two rectangles. We only have one. So we can't just add and figure out all this fun stuff. We don't have one side missing and know what the other three are between our two figures. So we have to figure this out a different way. Luckily, we can take the same rules we talked about earlier with perimeters and area and apply them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do perimeter over here and area over here. All right. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to realize that these are proportional. That's what similar in shape means. Similar figures is the same thing as similar in shape. So similar figures is the same as similar in shape. Now, when we have similar figures and we're trying to find out how one relates to the other, we're asking how are they proportional. All right, and I've got my calculator over here because I already know that at the end I'm going to need it because we got some pretty large numbers going on here, and I can tell that because 200 yards and 60 yards get to pretty big numbers, and I'm actually going to use both of those. Let's see how. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the idea of the volleyball court, V ball, and pool, and each of them lead to, well, here I'm going to go ahead and take the perimeter because that's what I end up wanting to find, and I'm going to set that over P for perimeter. But I'm also, on this side, I'm going to take again the volleyball court information I have, and I know that I have the short side here and the short side here, so I can use that because if I change the orientation, they would be the same side. They're both the short side of the objects we have. So I started with volleyball up top, so I've got to use the volleyball up top on the other proportion, or within my proportion on the other ratio, and 18 is the other side I got to use. So I'm going to take the information that I now have, which is a proportion, and know that I can cross multiply. However, before I do, I like to simplify first. Anytime I can simplify a fraction, I'm not going to wait till the end. I'm going to go ahead and simplify. So this is the same as 5 times 2 over 9 times 2. And that means that 60 over P is also equal to, because these 2's cancel, just 5 over 9. Now I have smaller numbers. I don't have to worry about multiplying by 18. I can multiply by 9, and I know 9 times 6 is 54, and I have a 0, and then I'm going to divide by 5 because I got this, and by the way, this is going to equal my perimeter because this is my 540. So all I'm doing is the same thing I've done before with proportions. I'm first cross multiplying and then I'm dividing by what's left. And both of those end up leading me to get an answer of 108 is equal to my perimeter. So the perimeter of my pool, because remember, that's what I'm missing. Pool, that's where my P is. The perimeter of my pool is equal to 108 yards, since it's a single dimension, and we have my answer for perimeter. I'm going to move my calculator while I go ahead and move. I was just showing that we are going to be using it. Now here, I'm still dealing with my volleyball court, but now I'm dealing with area. So instead of using 60, because that was my perimeter according to what they gave me, I'm going to move up to the area and I'm going to put 200. And I'm trying to find the area of my pool. So I'm going to put A for area. Here, I'm still going to use the 10, and remember I started with the volleyball court, so I need to start on the left, so I have to start with the volleyball court on my right. So I'm going to put my 10, and then I'm going to put my 18. And then, because this is area, I need to square it. Area caused that. All right, couple things to see here. Here we ended up with the same ratio, 10 to 18, as we had 10 to 18. So I already know that I'm going to get to the same answer, so I can go ahead and skip this step to show my simplifying and just write down 5/9. Now I have to keep my squared, and this is mostly to save some room, because I need to include for area that this is the same, squaring this is the same as 5 times 5 over 9 times 9. And then I'm going to get 200 over area of my pool is equal to 5 times 5 is 25 over 9 times 9, which is 81. And now I can go ahead and do my cross multiplication, which is going to be a rather large number, so I'm going to bring my calculator back, and you will be able to see that what I'm doing is I'm taking 81 times 200. I'm going to get my answer, 16,200. And then I'm going to divide by what's left, and that's 25. So divide by 25 is 648. So my area is equal to 648 yards. And I got to remember this, area is always squared, yards squared. So the area of my pool is 648 square yards, because I know they are similar figures, and I know they're short sides, and I know the area of one of the two shapes. I can always find the other. Now pause the video and copy what is on your screen into your notebook. Now that you're back, anytime you have to rewatch the video for clarity or to remember something, you need to write what you picked up into your notes. Use arrows, circles, shapes, pictures, memes. Doesn't matter what it is. Use what you need to make the notes yours. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, remember, when you're learning, it's about understanding the process, never just about the answer. We'll see you tomorrow.